Eflite RC here. We've got the e-flite Viper. Here we're going to do a real quick build. This is an insanely simple build. Everything is labeled. You have your fuselage out here. The first thing you're going to do is add your horizontal stabilizer. Just set your stabilizer, just put it flat here. Everything is labeled for your elevator. So you find your elevator lead lead from your tail, and match them up, light to light, dark to dark. You'll feel that connect really good. So elevator to elevator. You should have another elevator. You're going to have two of those because you have dual servos, and you're going to go light to light, dark to dark. Feel those click in. Something I like to do, especially when I'm not going to be going back to this area, I take a little piece of Scotch tape. I say a little piece of Scotch tape. And I like to connect the ends. It may not prevent it from coming off, but it makes me feel better. It keeps the fat guy smiling, knowing that I have that connected. All right. So we're going to keep those connected. We're going to go ahead and take the rudder. We're going to let it dangle off the side here. We're going to do rudder light to light, dark to dark. You'll see it. It's obvious. I don't have to hold it up to the camera for you to see, but it's very obvious. You just have to trust me. All right. All those little leads and all the little wires. There's a nice little cavernous space where you can tuck everything in. I hope that I'm talking loud enough where y'all can hear me. But all that gets tucked down in there, all nice and pretty as you please. Okay, hold that down in there like that. Okay, it goes down in there, that goes down in there, and that goes in there. And this and the ham bone goes to ham bone, the leg bone goes to leg bone. That just fits together, just like pieces of a puzzle. Okay, make sure you don't have any wires getting caught up there. Set that down, and here's a good time when you're going to be putting a little bit of pressure down on a piece of a model. This is a page from Brian Phillips thing. Have an old pillow available, because sometimes assembly stands put a little pressure, point pressure, whereas a nice pillow will spread that pressure out. So just find your connection points. Like I say, it's nothing but I think it's a 2mm hex drive. Whenever you put into foam, you wait till you see the foam compress a little bit, get down to where it's nice and snug, and then back off half a turn. That is how I like to do it. That has served me well over the years. Now, I have not put this model together before. This is raw, just like I like to do a lot of my videos. I do them raw, show the mistakes. That way you see the victories, you see the triumphs, you see the mistakes, you see the boo-boos. All the way down nice and tight, and then back off half a turn. Okay, keep all your screws in one spot where you know where they're at. Same thing, all the way down. Get it all in there nice and tight. You feel it almost to the point where you think you might not really break it, but you feel like, oh yeah, that's pretty darn tight. And then come back off there half a turn. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, you got 5 screws back here that hold your espionage or your tail together. And it all fits together like pieces of a puzzle. That's just the nose. Yeah, that all seals in real nice and pretty. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. Get it down there where it's all nice and tight together, but not overly tight. You can, if you put enough of these models together, you can tell what is overly tight and you know, what's too tight. Anyways, get it in there nice and snug, nice and tight, and you'll feel it. It feels like, okay, you're almost at the stopping point. When you get to the stopping point, and then all the way down, and then back off half a turn. Because you got to remember, you're going into plastic and foam and things like that, and that foam will expand. So I say, the reason I say back off half a turn, because that foam is going to expand a little bit, putting pressure on the joints, and it's going to give you that nice, snug, tight seal. Now, okay, not trying to be rough with my model, but she's in there. All right, so that takes care of that. Now, as a lot of the videos show, when you go to put this together, you have this rat's nest of wires, and you're going to have a hard time putting it together. So we got to take this conglomeration of wires, and we got to feed that through. Oh, I love this camouflage. Through this little bitty hole that's already crowded. So, make it easier on yourself. Go ahead and get as much out of the way that you can. Because where you're coming through at, there ain't much room there. So they've already joined everything up for you. So, you know what we're going to do? We're going to identify the wires that have to come through, and they've got these extensions. You know what we might just do? Oh, by the way, if you find one wire hooked to your receiver, if it's a bind and fly, that has no label, guess what that is? That's the bind. Okay? So go ahead, take your bind plug, that's provided, put that in there. That way you know. Everything else, okay, like there's gear, which is in the wings, okay, 2 gear, because there's a nose gear. All right, there's aileron. All right, so we're going to have to fish all that through, and I'm going to have to push past this conglomeration of wires that are there. Okay, so what I need to do is make me an easier way of grabbing it. And as you can see, they've really much done that for me. I've got all these wires, and look what I've got. Got a hoop right there. And guess what I got right here? Pliers with a scooper on it, or any tool with a hook on the end of it. Take a piece of whatever wire you've got, stiff wire, make a little hoop and pull it through. So then I say that might be easier said than done, but let's just see. Now this is one area where using the stand might come in handy, because I don't want this stuff to get bound up. Okay, I know you can't see what I'm doing, but basically I'm fishing all this through this small hole that already has some obstructions right there. So that's going to make it kind of hard. It's not impossible. It's just a pain in the butt. Yeah, it's not impossible. It's just go ahead and push that on in there. And once you get pushed past the obstruction, you'll feel it go in a little bit easier. Alright, so let's just let that kind of loose. Turn her over. We're not completely done, obviously. And let's see if we can't just grab. Aha. See if we can't just grab some of Yeah, there we go. See, they got all that taped together. That way, it stays together. Now, yeah, I've got that all past there. I was able, I don't know if you can see it, but remember I said that hoop? These? There's that hoop. I was able to get a hold of it, pull that hoop of wires. Now I can deal with that there. So let's turn the model back over. Great looking model, by the way. And let's just, oh yeah, all of them wires are feeding right in. So I'm not going to have to worry about any kind of weird obstruction. Let's just go back. That's not really fitting as well as I want it to. So let's pull this through some more. You know, making sure I don't. Yeah, I think that's. Yeah, there you go. All right, let's go. Turned over. Turned over. Red rover. Yeah, that's. All right. This takes a little bit of doing. I'm not gonna lie to you. You gotta make sure them connectors are nice and sealed. Are coming through well. Yep. All right, I think I'm happy. I think I've got one good piece there. It's all in there in one piece. So, finish our wing assembly. Come on. Like I say, you got this pillow down. So that's what protects the model from dents and dings and messing up the paint. You gotta remember, this is an e-flite model. They know that not everybody putting this together is going to be an expert and going to screw things up. So they do kind of have it kind of idiot proof to a certain extent. Doesn't mean you can be careless about it, just purposely do things. Don't be just slapping it together and look at that. You know, you need to pay attention to what you're doing. If it seems like I'm kind of cavalier about how I'm putting this together, it's only because I've put so many of these models together that I know how the foam reacts and how things fit and what to expect. But that's me. That may not be you. No extra screws, just so you know, so be careful holding on to them. Make sure you keep good track of them. But we're going to make sure that everything is still hooked up right. Okay? And that's real simple because we're going to give power to the gear. Power to the gear, man. Power to the gear. Alright. Come on. And of course, my last screw is not wanting. Ah, there it goes. Wasn't wanting to catch. It was just kind of riding on the surface. So. Anyways, 1 of 6 screws. Hold that wing in. You've got a nice, nearly indistinguishable seam there, right there. Okay. Alright. All the wires are fished through. And there, folks, the E-flite Viper, all assembled. Okay, well, we'll go through and make sure everything's lined up right in the next video. That was the simple assembly, the basic assembly. I haven't made sure everything's centered and all the servos are perfectly, level and everything and trimmed out right. That'll be a different video, but very simple assembly. I mean, oh my goodness, you saw me how I put everything together. Beautiful model, absolutely beautiful model. So there we go, folks. We're gonna sign off right now. E-flite Viper went together. The only hardest part is feeding all your wires through. But they do have them kind of looped together and taped off. Use that loop to your advantage and get you a pair of pliers that have a curve. Pull them on through, you'll feel them give, move the other wires out of the way so they come right through. And then you're going to go through and make sure everything's nice and you dislodge anything. And you do that with a servo protector, a servo tester with some power, and make sure everything's working right. So there you go, folks. This is Fat Guy Flies RC, and that's the E-flite Viper. Don't forget to like and subscribe. God bless y'all. And this is just a raw assembly. There you go.
Signing off, man.